Good morning, everybody. My name's Andrew Howell. I work for the Borough Council of Kingston in West-Norfolk, which is about 250 miles south. Little pointy out bit down the bottom, really small place, about 40 miles from Norwich. So we're quite a small, rural local authority, but we aim quite high. We like to punch above our weight. That's what we plan to do. So what I'm here to talk about today is about the freedom to make things, and really what that's about is how my team has used Jadu to develop solutions to get over problems that we've faced. Jadu has really opened up a lot of possibilities for us. Our previous CMS was really restrictive for us. We couldn't access our live server, we couldn't do any kind of code updates whatsoever. So this is kind of really our story about how we've managed to build all these different things. Like most councils, we're under pressure. We've balanced our budgets for the next 2 years, but in 2020 to 2021 we have a 2.5 million shortfall. Now, obviously that's a lot of money. We are a small authority. What that meant is that we need to do something different. We need to look at our services. Now, like a lot of councils, we embarked on a channel shift project. And as part of that, we looked at pretty much every aspect of our digital services. Part of that was changing our website. We had an old website, wasn't responsive. So we really kind of needed a partner to work with that would really kind of help us push forward. Before, we were kind of very much tied into third-party vendors, and Suraj used the word earlier, monolithic. You know, we could have the best customer journey possible, but pretty much we were dumping them to a third-party system that they then had, customers were on their own to try and find their way around. Public access is one of those, and that was a bit of a problem for us. So what we needed to do was, when we embarked on this journey, we really needed the right tools. As I said earlier, we wanted that freedom to be able to develop. So we procured a new CMS in a joint procurement exercise with Broadland Council, and we started that in 2015, and our websites went live in July 2016. Even in that tender process, we came across suppliers who wanted to limit what we could do. I'm not going to name any names, but for example, if we wanted to upload any custom code, we could do that once a month. We were allowed to do that. If we wanted to do that more, we would have to pay extra. You know, what really came across was that really stifled us. I had a team that was really keen to kind of do all these different things. Part of our strategy was to actually invest in our team, so we never really kind of had developers, but rather than paying telephone number figures to like third-party companies, we actually decided that we were going to try and develop a bit in-house and invest, so we've now got 2 developers. We actually have invested in our digital services to try and make them the best that they can be. You know, so what we wanted was a partner that was actually going to work with us and allow us and give us that freedom. And I suppose as customers, we were what I would call a pain in the backside. We really like to kind of get under the hood and play around with something and get the most out of it that we can get. You know, I'm very lucky in the sense, and I'll talk about my team shortly. You know, I've got resource that allows us to really tackle stuff. But I think when you work with a partner, what you really look for, firstly, is the technology good enough? Does that enable you to do what you need it to do? But secondly, is more important, is about the culture and their attitude. And are they trying to stifle you, or will they work with you and actually say, yes, we can do that? And that's what we really found with Jadu. I mentioned about my team. I really should emphasise this a lot. I'm not a developer myself. But my team have really enabled me to kind of, you know, I draw boxes on a piece of paper pretty much most of the time, and I go, I want that box to do this, and I want this one to do that, and you know, and that's how it works pretty much. But my role is to kind of speak to service areas, to go out and go, what's really important. You know, our main thing for channel shift is to try and stop the phone ringing. Jadu's custom widgets have really enabled us to actually kind of deliver a personalised experience across our website, by, rather than just passing people to third-party applications, actually taking data out of those applications and making it as part of the user journey. And I'll hopefully demo some of that, and so you'll see what I'm kind of talking about. You know, and if channel shift is really going to work, there has to be something in it for the customer. If you want people to come back to your website and be repeated visitors and use that service, they need to have a good experience. So what we kind of really had this vision of is having this personalised experience of coming to our website, deliver information that was really relevant to you, so whether it was bin dates, planning applications, often, as well as I mentioned earlier, these big monolithic kind of front ends, they didn't really work for the customer. We kind of, our revs and bends and our planning front ends really were not very customer friendly, to be honest, and we really want to do something about that. Planning is by far the busiest area on our website, so we want to try and improve that kind of customer experience. So this is our website in all its glory. The first thing I'd like to talk through is what we call our notification system. Now, but what I want to show you is it's really simple. It's just location-based information. I'll try and pick something topical. And so I'll select an address. So all this is just our LLPG data, pretty much. But what it does, it just gives you some information. Right, so that's just a very basic find my nearest solution, fairly common and such like, but I'm not going to do that. But what it does, I don't want that. So that gives some really basic information around our top tasks. A common one was our bin collection date. So it just presents that information to a customer straight away. Also, it starts to show planning applications. So that gives some planning application details there, and that would take somebody straight into public access, but I'll talk about planning a little bit later. But what it then also does, we use location-based, can I just, yeah, I'll scroll. That information, now we've got that address set, we can actually show information around the website. So you want to go and find out how much your council tax is. Oh no, I'm going to have to scroll again, aren't I? Oh, there we go. A bit more. So instantly it knows that that's my address there that I've set. It tells me some really basic information about what your council tax is. Now, what we're not presenting any kind of personalised information there. But what it does is it just kind of gives that person personalised information against the address that they're set. And that journey just follows them around the website. Another simple task. Again, go find out your borough councillor. So what that does there is just gives that information. So rather than having to search it and going through continually putting your address in all the time, it literally just sits there and just gives you personalised information about the services that we provide. Hopefully, kind of really nice, easy customer experience. Just uses cookies just to remember the address that you've set, and then when you come back to the website, you get that kind of personalised information again. But as I mentioned earlier, planning is really our biggest area that we deal with. What we really wanted to do was kind of make that as easy as possible for people. So coming here again, so I've got my address set. Instantly now it tells me planning applications that are close by to me. Now what we used to do, our customer journey used to be pretty much as it is now. You could comment on the planning application. It used to go to iDocs Public Access. You used to dump them at the front end there and you were on your own. And we used to get so much negative feedback from customers, from councillors. A constituent is complaining about a planning application. They want to then go in and find it. They couldn't really find it sometimes. So they were coming to us and saying, we can't find this planning application, is it here? So we really wanted a way of making planning applications so much easier. So what we do now is you click that, and if you just click view, and that will take you straight into that iDocs Public Access record, you straight into it now. And most people, when it comes to planning, are interested in what's happening in and around them. So what it does is kind of really allows that to be quite personalised. So that would give you all the kind of local planning applications in and around you. But say you want to actually search more, this is something else that we've developed. And this is actually like an advanced search for public access. It sits over the top. So what that is, it allows people to search. But one advantage it does over public access is it actually allows you to use geographical, like by distance from your property. Public access doesn't actually kind of offer that kind of system. So what this does is now I can actually look at this and I can search planning applications in and around by my distance. By furthest away to me. I can set, this is currently set within 5 miles, I can set it within 10 miles. So you're now out of the boundaries of being stuck within wards, which is traditionally how public access works. You search within wards, and the number of times you do a search and there's too many records to display, so you couldn't actually see it. We also integrate into Google Street View and Google Maps, which our planners really like. To be honest, that's just a bit of an added bonus. But hopefully what you'll see is that that's a more positive experience. For us, that by far planning is we get twice as many hits to our planning pages as we do for anything else. But it's Jadu's custom widgets. I mean, basically these pages now, all these are a home page, just a standard Jadu home page with a custom widget built in. The next thing I want to show is our Contact Us module, which is based upon Jadu directories. basically our contact page just used to be a list of telephone numbers for, you know, if you want this department or whatever, phone this, and if you want to speak to somebody about this, do this. It was really straightforward. I had to change my Sky TV package, and I went onto their website and I was like, that's brilliant. I want that for us. And what this enables us to do really is to break tasks down depending on what you want and actually steer people in a particular way. Before, we just used to have, if you want benefits, contact us on this, you know, but actually now you can really tailor each process. So for example, if you want to claim housing benefit now, we tell them actually, well, did you know, the first thing is we want to try and keep them online. You're on our website, did you know you can claim it online? If for some other reason that doesn't necessarily work, well, you can integrate into our live chat service. So that's a third-party product that we bring in. If you really do need to phone us, here's the telephone number. You know, we present all the different options, but what we're trying to do in terms of channel shift is promote, obviously, our online services first. But what it allows you to do is do different things. Now, many of our services are delivered by third-party contractors. So, for example, bins and recycling, we use Kia as our waste and recycling provider, so they go out. But some of the things you have to contact Kia for, but some of them you actually have to contact us. There's a difference in how that's done. How do you really expect the customer who's outside the organisation to understand that? You know, if you want to find out really basic information about your round information, well, actually what you need to do is you need to, you know, you can phone us or you can look at it online. If you want to do a bulky collection, now bulky collections are not done by us, they're done by... So what that enables us to do is actually really tailor how you want that contact path to go for people. So in here, you can find out about it online, but actually if you need to phone someone, don't phone us, you need to contact Kia. That's kind of it in terms of a demo. Overall, our customers seem to have really liked it. I talked to you, obviously mentioned that the big thing we were trying to do is channel shift. We've actually we've closed 2 of our area offices now. Face-to-face visits have gone down from 700 to 50 in a week. So that makes a big difference. Face-to-face obviously being the most expensive contact method. Yes, okay, phone is not perfect, but we have shifted customers from face-to-face to telephones. You know, that is different. What we're now looking is now to try to get from telephone across to the web. You know, in terms of online transactions, should I say, in the year previous, before we went with Jadu, we had about 4,500 online forms and tasks submitted. Since we've been live with Jadu, that same year, that's now over 12,500. So that's an increase of 168% of online forms and transactions in a year. You know, so we're pretty pleased with that. That's a pretty powerful one for us to know. You know, and not all of those are down to our custom developments by any means, but what that does, but I think the custom developments allow you to build a more consistent user journey, and rather than passing people around to really pretty awful front ends, we are happy to help. What we've done, or what we've inadvertently done, should we say, through the Slack forum that Matt mentioned earlier, actually, we kind of explained some of the work that we were doing, and that all came about. Neil, who runs the Slack forum from Oxford City Council, got in contact with me and said, I love your contact us page. We're looking at doing something about that, again, around channel shift. You know, how much did Jadu charge you to do it? And I was like, we didn't, we built it ourselves. He was like, oh, you know, would you build us one? And yeah, so we have. And actually, we've signed off in their dev environment. It's going into their test environment today, and hopefully should be live on Oxford City Council's website on Monday. So that's kind of us kind of working together. Now, I'm more than happy to speak. So this is not a sales pitch by any means, but with Oxford, they don't have a lot of development resource available to them. So we've actually, my team have done all the work pretty much. So we've charged them, but not what you would get, like not a capita charge, shall we say, or something like that, you know, more maybe realistic. You know, so they have paid us money, but we're doing the work for them. But equally, you know, if you have got developers, or people who, you know, you think actually, well, we could do some stuff like, you know, feel free to speak to us. We're more than happy to help, and we can explain. You know, as Suraj mentioned, the big thing about this is the kind of community. Equally, if you guys have got any kind of developments that you think, oh, you know, you might be interested in this, would really love to see them. And I think that way, you know, Jadu really gives us a platform that allows us to do things like that we can actually develop things ourselves and, you know, kind of drive things ourselves rather than being at the behest of, you know, big kind of, that word again, monolithic companies that charge you a fortune just to, I mean, charge £1,000 to change a logo on public access. Oh. You know, just absolutely drives you insane, to be honest. So, you know, hopefully that's come across that, you know, Jadu's given us that flexibility, that also that having our developers has hopefully improved our customer journeys. So I think that's it for me.